Hey, this is RhysJura bringing you my second Overwatch guide. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Genji, in my opinion one of the coolest heroes in the game, and we're going through his abilities, gameplay style, what you should do with him, counters, weaknesses, strengths, synergies and all that sort of good stuff. First we're going to go over Genji's abilities. His left click attack is he throws 3 shurikens in a straight line in front of him. These are quite hard to hit. They do a lot of damage if you do, so you have to try and practice leading them on and aiming them properly. Alternatively, he can use his right click to throw 3 in a spread, which is good for more close quarter situations against big targets, or if you just really need to get that last tiny bit of damage in because it's much easier to hit. Secondly, we have his E ability, which is deflect. This is a really cool ability and there's a lot of use and a lot of kind of cool things you can do with it in the game. For the duration of the deflect, which is 2 seconds, he will block all incoming damage, that is projectile based, and reflect it back where he's aiming. So when I say projectile based, I mean it won't block things such as Mei freeze, Winston's attack and stuff like that, but things like Bastion and Widowmaker and Soldier and Tracer and all that stuff he blocks and deflects. Next we have Swift Strike. Swift Strike is kind of one of the main abilities you have to get used to using to be able to chain Genji properly and get around the map and kill people. He'll slash forward and he'll damage anyone he hits whilst he does this. The important thing to know is that when you kill someone, you get an instant reset on this. So it's beneficial to try and get the kill with the dash, that way you can see, I don't know, they got someone in the back like Mercy, you get her, she's getting low, you go in, slash her, she dies, and then you can instantly either slash out or slash onto the next target who you want to kill. So lastly is Genji's ultimate, Dragon Blade. With his mighty war cry, he'll pull his katana out from its sheath on his back, and he'll just be able to left click spam to slice his sword through opponents. It does massive damage. Normally the average is about 2 strikes per enemy, the tank's taking a bit more. All your other abilities are still usable, so you can still dash, you can still deflect, you can still jump around, and you don't get any strike more defensive than you were before, so you still have to play careful. You can't just go like full balls to the walls. But it is a really cool ultimate and is a really nice play the game maker. Here we have, I think, the most important ability in Genji's kit, which is his passive Cyber Agility. This allows you to firstly double jump, which is amazingly useful, and wall climb. What you'll see in some of the clips throughout this video is how to use Cyber Agility to be able to get around the map really fast and get into really awkward places, to be able to always keep your enemies on their toes by not knowing where you are, and you should always just keep jumping around so that you're much harder to hit. Here's a really quick tip for you as well. If you watch this clip showing, you'll see how you can get into the options menu to enable auto climb for Genji. It's also true for Hanzo, it just makes the game a lot easier to navigate. Right, so now I'm going to talk about kind of how you should play Genji and his overall gameplay style, and I'll go over the 2 different sort of game modes around the game, which is capture the point sort of maps and then the payload maps. So, for control the point maps such as Legion Tower and Ilios, your goal is to obviously get onto the point at the beginning and try and help your team out, just getting kills where possible. If you have got the point, you can kind of push into their spawn zone to try and keep them occupied and not make them safely be able to get to the point by disrupting them and trying to kill them and just get in their way. And then if you're trying to flip the point, again, you want to try and look for easy, like alone targets, which is where Genji thrives. He's pretty squishy, and apart from your deflect, you haven't got anything to keep yourself safe. So you don't really want to take fights against like 3 people at once unless you're God, and then you'll win anyway, but let's just assume we're not, hey? And then you'll probably die. So you want to try and look for like the lone Widowmakers or the lone Bastions, or even like just focusing on someone like Mercy or Lucio and try and get them dead 1v1. It's normally a good way to do it. Then for payload sort of maps, on offense, what I like to do, and I think is a fairly decent way of playing him, is whilst you have the main core of your team, so the tanks and the healers and kind of the more static DPS like Soldier and McCree kind of pushing for the payload, you kind of go off and try and flank the enemy or get them from the rear and go for the sort of kind of trenched in defense champions like Widowmaker again and Bastion and Torbjorn. Just try and, even if you can't kill them, just stop them from focusing your rest of your team. So the Bastion, you know, he knows you're there, he can't really kind of take his eye off you for ages because you'll just murder him. And when he does try and shoot you, deflect it back onto him so he can't even shoot you properly. Then Widowmaker, you can just stop her sniping your team forever, and then you'll probably kill her anyway because you're good against her, and stuff like that. The one time you do kind of want to get right onto the payload, obviously, if you need to push it and you're the only person alive or something like that, or if you have your ult, you can jump down onto the payload with ult and try and slaughter all their defense. If you're on defense as Genji, I think it's a little bit less optimal, but you can still, you know, on some maps the offense team will pick people like Widowmaker and Hanzo and such because they're kind of long corridors in a map where they can take advantage of this and try and snipe the offense. You can then do exactly the same sort of thing and try and get to those guys in the back and deal with them. So remember when I was talking about the cyber agility ability, this is kind of the key. You can just kind of, you can jump in, get some shurikens off, get a slash off, and you do them and just disappear and get somewhere that like a Bastion or a Torbjorn or a Mercy can just never chase you. And then you wait for your cooldowns to come back up, maybe find a health pack if you need it, and then you go back in and do the same over and over again, getting kills, being annoying. Kind of the same sort of playstyle as Tracer, that in my opinion a lot more fun and stylish. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly just go over the other champions in the game and talk about how Genji kind of squares up to them. So firstly I'm going to McCree, who's quite an interesting one. You kind of like counter and get countered by McCree, because you can deflect his flashbang and his Thunder Hammer right back onto him, and then he's easy pickings. But if you do get caught in the flashbang, you're just dead. You haven't got enough health to survive even half a Thunder Hammer, so he doesn't even have to be that good, he'll still kill you. So if you're kind of in a standoff where it's like, will you deflect the flashbang, and that's all it comes down to, and if you can, then you'll win. Next is Farah. Again, you can block her ultimate and her rockets and all that, you know, and you can kind of chase her down because you can get high up. But she's, I think, quite strong against Genji just because that she is much harder to escape from. Like with the champions that stay on the ground level, you can just run up the wall and get away from them really easily or stay above them, whereas she should always be above you, and that can really suck. Reaper, Soldier and Tracer I think are kind of even. I think Soldier's actually pretty good against Genji because there's too much to deflect, and if he's got good aim he'll just slaughter you. But on the flip side, a good Genji can still kill these three. You can deflect well, kind of get around them properly. I don't think there's any clear winner here, so it's just the better player or the better team play at the time will win. So Bastion, the bane of everyone's existence. Genji's really good against, obviously, because if he just feeds into you with your deflect up, you'll just kill whoever you're deflecting onto. And you can just so quick that it's hard for him to keep track on you, and you can get behind him or get on top of him, or even snipe him from a distance even, because you're sure it can do a decent amount of damage to him. Hanzo, again, I think this one's quite close. If you deflect properly, you'll win, but if he one-shots you, if he gets a good shot off a distance, or even a lucky scatter shot onto you. Fun fact though, you can deflect his ult if you're close enough range, which is really satisfying to do, so try to give that a go. Well, next is Junkrat, who is fucking disgusting. You can block his grenades, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get hit by one of them if you just hang around him. And if you get stuck in his trap, it's just GG. I hate this guy as Genji. You can deal with him, but even like his passive where he blows up on his corpse is still just really fucking horrible for Genji. So I just normally try and avoid this guy, which I know is probably not great. Again is Mei. Mei is really horrible for Genji because you can't block her freeze ray at all. Nothing you can do about it, and once you're frozen, you're just a sitting duck, and one headshot with her icicle will kill you. So I think if they have a Mei or even two and they're doing work, that Genji's maybe not the right pick. So next we have Torbjorn and Widowmaker, who Genji's both strong against. the turret will just auto-fire no matter what, so it's really easy to flex fodder. Torgrim himself can't really deal with Genji, he's too slow and too cumbersome. Again, with Widowmaker, if she snipes you, then you're dead, but that's just kind of the same for every champion at the moment, hey? But the goal with Widowmaker is to get up in her grill and make her panic and like leave a nest, and then you can probably hunt her down and kill her because you've nowhere near as mobile as you. So the tanks in general, you're not looking to 1v1 them because they all absorb so much damage and can kill you most of the time. You can, with the help of your team, just be like a little annoying fly on them. And get them that way, and just kind of keep their health low and stop a Reinhardt from being able to just like confidently charge forward. Winston's the exception here, but he just murders Genji. Like in a 1v1 fight, there's not really anything you can do. Even with sword up, he just electrocutes you to death, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then support heroes, none of them should be any issue for Genji. Zenyatta is kind of the closest because Discord Orb will make you really just die to basically anything, and that can be really annoying. But you can kill them all, like, and you should be hunting them down and really trying to destroy them, get them dead. And if you in solo play are finding yourself doing this, you'll find yourself winning a lot more games. If you're there killing the Mercy before she can res, or killing Lucio and stuff, you'll just be winning much more games because you might find that your teammates won't do the same. But in general, that's an overview of how you match up against heroes. But just because of the way Genji plays, you're not necessarily always looking to straight 1v1 people, you're more going for the kind of guerrilla in and out sort of play style, so you don't have to take it all to face value, but I just keep it in mind anyway, because if I see a team when they have like the double Winston comp and a McCree and a May or something, I'm just like, Genji's not right here, Genji's just going to get me killed over and over and over again. So anyway, yeah, that's the basis of it. I hope that was a little bit helpful. Right then, to summarise, Genji is obviously a good offensive pick for any team comp, and you generally want to play him as a sort of flanker, annoyance sort of style, so you're taking shots at the enemies, getting in their way, making them fall back, just stopping them from doing what they want to do, and hopefully picking up some kills along the way. If anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to ask me below, and I will get back to you. And it would mean a lot to me if you could drop me a like or maybe even a subscribe if you want to see some more videos from me. And even I'll take recommendations on what hero to do next. Right, so I'm just going to let the rest of this game just play out so you guys can see some more gameplay if you want. Because I find it quite useful to watch as well. So, cheers guys, RhysJura out.